sometimes you always wonder if you're going to be able to survive from gig to gig, especially long performances. We recently had an inquiry about how I pace myself during a performance, so I thought I'd share a few tips. Stay tuned and watch this video. Thanks so much. Everybody, it's Trent Austin from Austin Custom Brass. Hope you're having a fantastic day out there today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, stay up to date with us with all of our mini lessons like this one, our free product videos, our goofy trumpet fun videos, and more. We can't do it without you, and we truly appreciate all of the great support you bring ACB. This was a recent request from a customer of ours who asked, how do we work on pacing? He's talking about someone who's occasionally playing, not practicing 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, which is me nowadays with my shop. I don't practice nearly as much as I used to. Someone who's got a lot of things on their plate. Maybe they don't have as much, dedicated daily routine practice time. And how do they survive through gigs? So while you're never going to replace proper practicing, of course, you're never going to replace the great use of long tones, and I strongly suggest you watch the most recent mini lesson that I talk about the Caruso method and how much it benefited me. You could do that routine, even the seconds that I'm talking about on the video, in a matter of 10 minutes max and get a ton out of it. So I really strongly suggest that you have to incorporate daily long tones as part of your routine, even if it's a short time frame. But here are some just practical tips that a lot of people forget when we play. One, do not overblow. You have a very, sorry if I hit that microphone, you have a very tiny hole. See how small that hole is in this lime green mouthpiece? That's a really small throat. So if I tank up and take a ton of air and blow it through this hole, it's gonna fight me. The proper resistance is so crucial about resonating and having a beautiful trumpet sound. 2, don't play too loudly. A lot of us get into the habit of just being, sheer muscle heads when it comes to the instrument. And you have to understand that what we hear from this perspective of the horn is different than from what we hear. I'll show you by a playing example here. And I'll play 2 excerpts. Actually, I'll use a different mouthpiece, a little bit more orchestral suited. The first one will be at max volume, and it will distort the microphone. But let me turn off the talking mic. Great. Not really that comfortable to play, a little bit too much effort. I'm probably not going to survive that whole movement. That's the last movement of pictures. If I could play with this forced sound. If I back off just 5 or 10%, you hopefully in this microphone will hear a difference in the tone. Pushing it, I'm letting the instrument do the work. So remember, again, small throat. Well, actually, you can't see that. Small throat, not a ton of air. But also realize that you overblow inside the chamber, it causes turbulence. Now, I'm not saying underblow. There's a very fine line between overblowing and underblowing, but you want to get in the habit of that. This is a huge mistake I see with people when they're playing on gigs, and they forget to hydrate. Now, this is water. I strongly advise not to actually drink any alcoholic beverages on your performances. I'm not against drinking alcohol, but I am against the dehydration properties that it brings and how it affects my embouchure. So I would always tank up, take at least one 8-ounce glass of water before you play, one in the set, one on break. Yes, maybe you have to go to the restroom a little bit more often, but it is going to help. These are so much based on water. Try not to eat spicy foods before your performance. I know it sounds silly, but that all affects the way we play. And lastly, if you can buzz it on your mouthpiece, you can play it. So if I can buzz that, if I can buzz it, I can play it. So do a lot more daily mouthpiece practicing, especially if you're a commuter to a job and you can't practice on your horn. Take your mouthpiece, put a mouthpiece in your car. I always have a mouthpiece, and the Pete, which I am a huge fan of. The Pete is one of the best practice devices ever made that you can do outside of your horn and mouthpiece practicing. If you do those consistently, I think that will help a great deal. In terms of music, get in the habit of playing longer etudes. A lot of times we only play things like, for instance, if we play Arbon, it's not that long in the beginning. Get in the habit of playing longer pieces that force you to have the horn on your face for a longer period of time. What I started practicing to help my endurance were violin etudes, Kreutzer violin etudes that my teacher Bob McCoy gave to me. Or things that just keep you playing longer periods of time. You know, you want to take a break when you have to, of course, but it's important to make sure that you push yourself a little bit past your normal boundary. One thing that will help in those passages is use a mute that adds resistance. Something like a cup mute or harmon mute will give you enough resistance to help propel your endurance a little longer. I hope you got something out of this video. Again, if you have any suggestions for a future video, just pop them in the comments below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for your great support of ACB. Keep practicing, pace yourselves, breathe, take some water, do it right, and I think you'll get through those sets far easier than you have in the past. If you have any future questions, just pop them in the comments. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. Cheers.